Indeed, a very good afternoon, Curia. We're still here at the Supreme Court Sub-Registry, whereby we continue to follow up on any applications that will be filed. As we had mentioned earlier on, is that one application had been filed by lawyer Dunstan Omari, whereby in his application he seeks, or he says that persons living with disability were left out in the just concluded general election, saying that they are about 800 of them across the country, and if they had been included or supplied with the brails to vote or even access to their wheelchairs, then this would have had a great effect in the just announced presidential election results. Therefore, he's seeking to be enjoined in the petition so that the will of people living or persons living with disabilities can be heard and allowed if there will be any other general election that will be conducted. Also been able to get further responses are filed in regards to the other responses that have been filed by respondents, and one of them is has been filed by the National Security Advisory Committee, led by the chair, who is Joseph Kinyua, who is also the head of the public service, whereby in their responses they dispute, or in their affidavit they dispute allegations leveled against them that on the 15th they tried to get in touch with the chair of the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission, Wafula Chebukati, as well as the other commission, and that they tried to subvert the will of the people regardless of the outcome of the results, whereby they sought him to declare a certain candidate as the president-elect. Well, in the affidavit they have disputed those allegations, saying that they are wrong, and even earlier on they had tried to reach the chair, but he was responsive to them. He was not responsive to their call. And thereafter, they say that a meeting was held, and it was held in open. It was not a secret meeting. And in the meeting, they were just trying to seek to advance the security situation in the country, and also at the National Tallying Center, which was at Bomas. Whereafter also, and some of the things that came out of the meeting, the chair says that the affidavit further says that after the meeting, the recommendations for further deployment on adequate security in all potential affected areas was discussed. The Inspector General of Police, the National Police Service, was asked or recommended to issue an assurance on security to the nation, and also to persuade the possible losing candidate to engage their supporters to allow for a peaceful redress mechanism. Also, the Inspector General of Police, the National Police Service, was asked to enhance security for the IEBC commissioners. So he says these are just some of the recommendations that came out of the meeting that was held at the National Tallying Center, and not what is alleged or insinuated by the chair, Wafula Chebukati, in his affidavit, whereby he says that they sought to influence him to change the outcome, to announce a different candidate regardless of the outcome of what had been achieved from the votes that had been tallied, verified and declared. Therefore, we just continue to follow up to get to understand, to get to see whether there will be more responses that will be filed in regards to the other responses that have already been filed here by the respondents, given that this is all in regards to the petition challenging the presidential elections that were declared on the 15th of August. Also, as we had mentioned earlier on in the morning, is that come tomorrow there will be a pre-trial conference. Just behind me is where we have the ceremonial hall inside here. This is where the pre-trial conference will be held, and thereafter we will have the hearing kick off immediately after the pre-trial conference. And according to a notice that we've received this morning, is that the pre-trial conference will kick off at 11 a.m. in the morning. And in the pre-trial conference, what will be discussed, or what will happen during the pre-trial conference, is that they'll be looking into any interlocutory applications that will be filed. They'll also be looking into any other applications that will be filed, and also any application of anyone seeking to be enjoined as amicus curiae or friend of the court. Given that so far we were able to see last evening that lawyer Charles Kanjama, representing 3 ICT persons, are seeking to be enjoined in this petition, as as amicus curiae. Also, they'll be considering any other applications that will be filed, given that you've been able to see a number of affidavits filed by the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission, each saying that they are the IEBC. You've seen an affidavit filed by the chair, Wafula Chebukati, saying that their affidavit is what is representing the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission. And we've been able to see another affidavit filed by the other four commissioners, led by the deputy of the IEBC, who is Juliana Cherera, saying that they are the actual IEBC. So there are two different representatives of the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission, and now we seek we'll be following up tomorrow to get to see what the Supreme Court will be able to say in regards to this, to determine now who is the actual Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission, given that earlier on also previously we've been able to see a similar situation occur whereby though it was not related to the presidential election results, this was related to the Law Society of Kenya, whereby we had seen the president and the other persons of the society who were in different camps, and this was brought before the court. And when this came to court, what was declared was that the side that had the president of the Law Society of Kenya is what was then referred to the Law Society of Kenya in court. So we don't know what will happen tomorrow, whereby if the Supreme Court judges will be able to make a decision on which side will be declared as the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission and which affidavit will be used in court. Other things that also be declared tomorrow during the pre-trial conference is also to determine whether the other petitions, given that so far there are 9 petitions, there are 8 petitions out of the 9 disputing the elections, disputing the presidential election results, and 1 cross petition by Moses Kuria saying that the petition filed by Azimio candidate Raila Odinga and his running mate Martha Karua should not be heard. And thereafter there was a preliminary objection filed by Raila Odinga and Martha Karua saying that even the petition, the cross petition filed by Moses Kuria, should not be heard at the Supreme Court, given that the Supreme Court under Article 140 of the Constitution allows only for presidential election petitions to be heard, and the cross petition by Moses Kuria is not a presidential election petition, and therefore it should be crossed out, it should be struck out, given that it's not even limited to the 14 days as required for all the other presidential election petitions. Therefore, it will be very interesting to get to see how the court will determine all these factors come tomorrow. And also, apart from that, we will also be seeking to see whether these petitions will be consolidated. And apart from consolidation, we'll also be waiting to see how much time will be given to the petitioners, how much time will be allocated for the rebuttal from the respondents, and also any other directives that will be given by the 7-judge bench and led by the Chief Justice Martha Koome, his deputy Philomena Mbetemwilu, the other Supreme Court judges, Njoki Ndung'u, Smoky Nwanjala, Isaac Lenaula, Ibrahim Mohammed, William Ouko. Therefore, it will be very interesting to get to see any directives that we will get come tomorrow. Back to you, Curia.